So next up, we got a clip here where Jake Kornreich, the CFO of Collab Software, he's going to talk a little bit about the title versus the impact.
Oh, yeah.
I know you definitely remember this. Jake, he came up, he started as the chief of staff.
What a come up. We covered your come up from chief of staff to CFO to sitting here with me now. But you've told me that you're actually an operator and a leader more than a CFO. And like, that was something I really grasped on because it resonates with me. I never like thought about myself at first as like I aspired to become a CFO. It ended up being what I was doing and I loved it. But like, I think there's a type of person who sees the CFO seat as a way to make change, and it just happens to be the title. I want to make one comment just for listeners. So I took the FP&A role originally, not even knowing what FP&A stood for, financial planning analysis. I took it because they said, you have a finance background, we're going to pay you like 10% more, and you're going to get to manage people eventually, which means you'll get paid even more. I was like, that sounds great. So what I just said there is totally true. I just wanted to give people some context of how I even got into this.
Are you sure you weren't just like attracted to the fact that like FP&A is like one of the few times that you get to use an ampersand?
Yeah, ampersand. That was definitely like a big selling point. I was like, well, my name is CJ, and that's already an acronym. If we could do another acronym, but with an ampersand, I could be CJ, the king of FP&A. Let's sign me up.
That rules. All right, I'm going to continue the clip.
I didn't grow up saying one day I want to be a CFO. I wanted to be in the room where important decisions were being made and where I could play a really significant role in what was happening with the business. Finance became a language I could use to do that. I just found I naturally thought that way, and my mind gravitated towards thinking about value creation and trade-offs and capital allocation and risk and execution. But I never thought of myself as only a functional leader. And at OWN, we used to say we were a team of leaders who happened to be on the leadership team, happen to represent a functional area, not we're a bunch of functional leaders that happen to be on the leadership team. And I think that's a really important distinction to make. And that's how I've always tried to operate. Once you're on the leadership team, your job's to help the company win however best you can. And sometimes that means going deep in your lane. Sometimes it means having a point of view on product or go to market, people, strategy, sometimes culture. You need enough humility to know what you know, but the confidence to be able to speak about any of that.
I do have a follow-up question on that for you, unless there was something you wanted to share there.
Hit me.
You kind of shared yourself that like, I don't know if you explicitly wanted to be a CFO, but I've heard this before about other things. Like I think in politics, they talk about like how the best politicians are the ones that don't want to be politicians.
Right.
And like, do you think that aspiring to the title specifically is actually a red flag in CFO candidates? How do you like become a CFO without not wanting to be a CFO a little bit?
I think the best people are ones who stack their talents in a way that makes them uniquely qualified to add value. So if all you've done is just like management accounting your whole career, like maybe you can get to the role, but you're going to be kind of a one-trick pony there. I think what Jake is hitting on, and he's an ambitious guy. Like I've had dinner with him. He's a great hang. He probably saw like, oh, I can get to that. Like eventually that role lights up and I can do that and I can get there credibly within the next, 6 months, a year, 2 years. And he probably saw that and took the opportunity. And that was similar to me. It wasn't like it's CFO or bust since I was 12 years old. That was definitely not the case. It was, these are the things I'm good at. And I think I can use these things to get into a room where decisions are made, to his point. I love how he said that because I've always thought about it as how do I get into a room where people are deciding the big stuff, right? Whatever that big stuff is. And my skills were not in coding. I didn't know how to code, so I couldn't be the CTO. My skills were not in design, so I couldn't be the CPO. And so it's like, okay, well, the path there, unless I invent the company as a CEO, is going to be through the CFO seat. And so once I figured that out, I was like, okay, how do I credibly get into that role? Today's episode is brought to you by Anrock, the sales tax platform behind companies like Anthropic, Notion, and Vanta. Here's a fun way to totally ruin a Tuesday. Open a letter from a state you've never set foot in, telling you that you owe back taxes you didn't know existed. Happened to me, because the rules never stop moving. States are now racing to tax AI, digital ads, streaming, really anything new, and they're doing it faster than a spreadsheet can keep up. Anrock handles all of it. One platform that watches your exposure everywhere, automates compliance, and flags risk before it turns into that nasty gram. That's why thousands of finance leaders trust Anrock to stay ahead. Talk to an Anrock sales tax expert for a personalized exposure estimate at anrock.com/RTN. That is ANROK.com/RTN.